takes only a few hours to cross, yet has the influence to shake all of Asia.
Where ancient temples stand next to the world's most advanced site in other factories. Where people speak Chinese, write traditional Chinese characters, and preserve ancient Chinese customs.
Yet live in a vibrant democracy full of freedom and creativity. That is Taiwan, an island the world both admires and endlessly debates. So ultimately, is Taiwan part of China or a separate world created by themselves? Positioned between the waves. In the vast Pacific Ocean lies a small island just over 300 kilometers long, yet any movement there makes the whole world hold its breath. That is Taiwan,
an island located just over 180 kilometers from mainland China's coast, separated by the Taiwan Strait.
Those seemingly peaceful waters always hide political undercurrents, tensions like a string about to snap. From above, Taiwan looks like a giant fish swimming in the sea. The head faces north, looking toward Shanghai, while the body stretches south toward the Philippines.
Surrounding the island are four of Asia's most important seas: the East China Sea, Philippine Sea, South China Sea, and the Taiwan Strait itself. A crossroads where trillions of dollars in goods pass through each year.
With this position, Taiwan becomes one of the most strategically vital points for regional transportation and security. Yet, this geographical fortune has become a complex political destiny. China always considers Taiwan a renegade province, while Taiwanese people operate their land as an independent country, with their own government, military, currency, and passport.
The two sides exist in parallel, like two mirrors reflecting each other.
One side is the vast and powerful mainland, the other is the small but resilient island. Each is following its own path of the Chinese concept. There are no land borders, only the surrounding sea.
Taiwan is both protected and isolated.
This very isolation has helped preserve its unique identity for decades. But it also keeps the island in a state of constant vigilance. Between peace and anxiety, between stability and threat. Each wave crashing on the shore seems to carry echoes of never-ending questions.
Can Taiwan continue to stand firm between two waves, one for the mainland, one for the world?
Or is this oceanic solitude precisely what makes the island so resilient and admirable? Miracle from the hands. Less than a century ago, Taiwan was just a poor island with an agricultural economy. Most people made their living from rice farming, fishing, and small crafts.
After World War II, the island emerged from ruins, lacking natural resources, no rich mines, no minerals.
Even arable land was limited. But precisely in these dire circumstances, a miracle began to form. In the 1950s, the Taiwanese government launched land reforms, redistributing ownership to farmers to alleviate poverty. When agriculture began to stabilize,
it shifted toward light industrial production.
The turning point came in the 1960s when the island decided to open up to the world with an export-oriented manufacturing strategy. Made in Taiwan. From an agriculture-based economy, Taiwan became the world's factory. In 3 decades, average GDP growth reached over 8% annually, a figure even major economies admired. T just in numbers, it was in the people. They believed every hour worked today was a building block for the nation's future. When basic manufacturing industries peaked, Taiwan didn't stop. From the 1980s, the government shifted investment toward education and high technology.
Technical schools, science universities, and research institutes sprouted across the island.
The education policy as industry's engine trained a generation of ambitious young engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs.
The result was an achievement called the Taiwan Miracle. From per capita income equivalent to sub-Saharan Africa in the 1960s, today Taiwanese people enjoy living standards higher than any European countries. with per capita GDP exceeding $33,000.
From the noisy sheet metal factories of yesteryear, Taiwan has erected gleaming glass buildings where technology is born every day.
That is the journey of a people who do not surrender to poverty, who do not fear limitations.
A small island has proven that prosperity does not require natural resources, but begins with human strength and the belief that tomorrow can be better than today. The Silicon Shield of the world.
From a simple agricultural processing economy, Taiwan has ascended to the pinnacle of world technology by a path few dare to choose, mastering chips smaller than a hair's breadth, yet operating the entire modern civilization.
If the economic miracle was the beginning of the rise, then the technology sector, especially semiconductors, is the shining peak of that journey.
In the Hsinchu Valley, located in the northern part of the island, there is a technology park as ordinary as any other industrial zone.
But behind the white walls and transparent glass lies TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company,
which manufactures over 60% of the world's computer chips and over 90% of the most advanced microchips.
From phones, computers, cars to satellites and airplanes, every modern device on this planet carries traces of Taiwan. Not many countries understand the value of knowledge like Taiwan. Instead of pouring money into resources, they invest in education, engineering, and applied sciences.
The government strongly supports research institutes, encouraging students to study engineering, technology, and physics.
The result is a skilled, disciplined, and creative engineering workforce sought after worldwide. The strength of Taiwan's technology industry lies not only in the chips but also in the ecosystem surrounding them.
Foxconn, the famous iPhone assembler, employs hundreds of thousands of workers in modern factories.
Acer, Asus,
MediaTek, and numerous other companies form a sophisticated industrial network, intertwining people, knowledge, and speed.
But this also makes Taiwan a fragile heart of the world.
For if TSMC stops operating for just one day, the entire global supply chain would be disrupted.
Major countries, from the US to Japan, seek to cooperate, protect, and compete for influence with this small island. Experts call it a silicon shield, an invisible defense that makes anyone think twice before touching Taiwan.
Ironically, the technology industry has made this place both strong and vulnerable. Taiwan does this better than anyone. They invest in cybersecurity, defense technology, and build defense policies for new teams.
While many countries rely on weapons, Taiwan chooses to protect its future with chips and human brains.
Today, amid the bright lights of laboratories and ultra-clean factories, the Taiwanese still maintain a calm smile.
As true strength lies not in the island. Democracy blooms on the island. If the technology industry is evidence of Taiwan's intelligence, then democracy is proof of the spiritual strength nurtured by this island over generations.
In the 4 decades after 1949, when the Kuomintang government retreated from mainland China and established its base in Taipei, Taiwan lived under the shadow of martial law.
From that year until 1987, the people here were not allowed to protest, had no free elections, the press was controlled, and only one party was permitted to exist. That was a period the Taiwanese call by the haunting name, the White Terror era. Thousands were arrested, imprisoned, or even disappeared just for expressing different opinions. But in silence and fear, the seeds of freedom still sprouted. Young intellectuals, students, and even monks quietly called for reform. From the late 1970s, those whispers gradually turned into waves demanding democracy.
When Chiang Ching-kuo, son of dictator Chiang Kai-shek, came to power, he unexpectedly chose a path few anticipated: political liberalization.
He lifted martial law, legalized opposition parties, opened up the press, and gradually returned power to the people. In 1996, the first direct presidential election in history took place, marking the birth of the world's first Chinese-speaking democracy. Since then,
Taiwan has become a rare example of a society peacefully transforming from dictatorship to democracy without bloodshed.
independent courts, transparent parliament, free press, and competitive elections became the foundation of political life. People can criticize the government, take to the streets, and freely choose their future. However, freedom in Taiwan is not a gift bestowed but the result of decades of struggle and sacrifice. What is precious is that when they obtained it, they did not use it for confrontation but for building. Social movements, from environment, gender equality to LGBT rights, have flourished, making Taiwan one of the most progressive societies in Asia. While many places are still searching for a path to reconcile freedom and stability, the Taiwanese have proven that democracy is not a Western privilege. It can flourish right on a small Asian island, as long as the people dare to believe in their own voice. S greatest strength lies not in technology, but in the belief that human will can change a nation. The Chinese soul outside China.
The irony of history is that while many traditional Chinese values faded on the mainland due to the political upheavals of the 20th century,
in Taiwan, a separate island offshore, they have been preserved almost intact.
walking through the old streets of Taipei or Taichung, one can encounter shop signs written in exquisite traditional Chinese characters, a script long simplified on the mainland.
For the Taiwanese, those characters, like dancing dragons and phoenixes, are not just language but ancestral memories, the thread connecting them to the origins of Chinese civilization.
Across the island, ancient temples and pagodas still ring their bells morning and evening.
From Longsun Yuwai Nagi Temple in the heart of Taipei to Confucius Temple in Tainan, all are maintained, restored, and rituals performed according to ancient rites. Every Lunar New Year,
Dragon Boat Festival, or Mid-Autumn Festival, people still gather with family, burn incense for prayers, and release floating lanterns on rivers, as if time has never passed.
S special is that the culture here doesn't.
Young people in traditional clothes still worship ancestors on full moon days. Bustling streets still mix with small shops worshipping earth gods, and high-tech companies still hold annual wealth god ceremonies.
T something placed in museums. Many scholars consider Taiwan a living museum of Chinese civilization, but that view is insufficient because here, tradition blends with new elements, including Japanese influence from colonial times, Western openness, and the indigenous spirit of Austronesian peoples. The result is a mixed but harmonious identity, both Chinese, Taiwanese, and global. Walking through night markets, you can feel this most clearly. The sounds of vendors, the scent of incense from street-end temples, mixed with modern music and dazzling neon lights, all blend into a unique symphony where past and present don't oppose but shine together. Taiwan has proven that culture isn't just for preservation but for development, by living with tradition rather than just talking about it. They've preserved the Chinese soul as a purified spirit, freely embracing the breath of the 21st century. Before Chinese migrants arrived, this island was home to indigenous communities living for thousands of years. They are Austronesian peoples, ancestors of ethnic groups who sailed to conquer the Pacific, leaving cultural traces from Philippines, Indonesia, Madagascar to New Zealand. And as linguistic archaeology shows, Taiwan is precisely the starting point of that seafaring civilization. Today, the Taiwanese government recognizes 16 indigenous tribes. Each has its own language, clothing, and beliefs.
They concentrate mainly in central and southern regions, where mountains and deep forests retain their wild beauty.
Among them, names like Rukai, Taiwan, Amos, or Atale carry rich treasures of legends, festivals, and arts. When outsiders see modern Taiwan with high-speed trains and technology, few suspect behind that urban facade lies an ancient soul still breathing, the soul of sea people. In indigenous villages, visitors might encounter stone houses meticulously hand-built, wall paintings recounting ancestral myths, or the strange sounds of the nose flute, an instrument reserved for men in traditional rituals. Their meals are simple but carry profound meanings of sharing, gratitude, and respect for nature. Rituals for good harvests, harvest festivals, or mountain god worship are maintained as they preserve their way of life amid constant modern changes. Though comprising less than 3% of the population, these communities deeply influence Taiwanese identity. The free spirit, community awareness, and philosophy of harmony with nature of Austronesian peoples have permeated modern Taiwanese thinking, gentle, humble yet firm.
The government also allocates significant resources to preserve this heritage, from teaching indigenous languages in schools to establishing cultural centers on the island. Beneath a highly technological society, the melodies and drum beats of Austronesian songs still resound each festival season.
A reminder that however far Taiwan advances, the island food and street life. If you want to feel Taiwan's true heart, forget skyscrapers and step down to streets blazing with light as dusk falls. When sunset comes, the whole island seems to wake again. The sizzle of oil pans, the smoky aroma of grilled meat, bustling voices, and shimmering red lanterns all blend into a lively symphony locals simply call night markets. Tea just for eating, then. From Shilin in Taipei, Pangyat in Taichung, to Luhe in Kaohsiung, each market is its own world. There you can taste legendary dishes. Xiaolongbao with soft, thin skins steaming hot, giant fried chicken larger than your hand, or stinky tofu. A specialty that makes newcomers grimace but locals adore.
Taiwanese cuisine is an intersection of many streams, traditional Chinese flavors blended with Japanese spices,
Western influences, and the wild touches of indigenous culture.
From steaming bowls of beef noodles, crispy scallion pancakes, to bubble tea.
A drink born in Taichung that has conquered the world. The craftsman. Among closely packed stalls, you easily see elders, youth, workers, students, tourists, all queuing together, laughing, eating, chatting. No class barriers. Just simple joy of people savoring every moment. Here, Taiwanese culture becomes most accessible and understandable, dynamic yet profound. Traditional yet modern, always warm like steam from a hot bowl on a night. Beyond night markets, Taiwan's urban life has its own rhythm. Spotless subways, endless motorcycle flows, and convenience stores open 24 hours. At every street corner, one can find something that makes busy life more pleasant. A cup of coffee, a quick snack, or simply the smile of a vendor.
Amid the bustling world, Taiwan still maintains its unique way of enjoying life.
Not too rushed, not too cold, but always warm, hospitable, and full of vitality. Perhaps that's why many visitors have said that Taiwan not only makes people want to visit, but also makes them want to stay. Beyond the vibrant night markets and lively laughter, what people remember most about Taiwan is not the food but the people. On this island with over 23 million people, politeness and kindness seem to have become natural habits. From elderly people giving up seats on the subway to vendors bowing in thanks for just a cup of bubble tea, every small action makes visitors feel respected. Taiwan is considered one of the safest and most civilized societies in Asia, with low crime rates, clean streets, and law-abiding citizens without needing reminders.
Children can walk to school alone. Tourists can forget their wallets without worrying about losing them.
In an increasingly suspicious world, trust in Taiwan remains as simple as breathing. Behind this peace is a modern welfare system and infrastructure.
Health insurance covers almost the entire population, allowing everyone to access healthcare at very low costs. Public transportation is fast, clean, and punctual.
In any city, you can see people commuting by train, cycling for leisure, or walking through tree-lined streets. Technology has become part of life, from electronic payments to online medical consultations. But Taiwanese people use it to serve the community rather than to isolate people. They are modern but not cold, creative yet humble. Deep down, Taiwanese people still preserve traditional values, respect family, value education, and love peace. It is this combination of discipline, gentleness, and refinement that creates a modern yet warm society, where civilization exists not only in art but in every smile and daily thank you. From a land with no natural resources, once considered the periphery of the world, Taiwan has written its own miraculous story. They rise through intelligence,
Persevere with willpower, and shine through kindness.
On that small island in the ocean, technology and tradition, freedom and discipline, modernity and spirituality coexist in an incredibly harmonious rhythm of life. Taiwan doesn't need to be loud to prove its uniqueness, because their way of life, humble and strong, small yet resilient, is the clearest affirmation. A small island that makes the whole world reconsider the true meaning of development.